Welcome back, big girls. How we doing? It's Sunday morning. This is my first private one-on-one underdog draft of the summer. So we're going to get into it. What we're doing today is the Pitbull, which is a tournament on Underdog in which they allow 15-second clocks while you have your pick. That's the greatest fucking invention since books, since the novel, all right? I'm fucking hyped about this. I did one yesterday for the first time. Ended up being a 25-minute draft. 18 rounds, 25 minutes. Y'all know how Underdog operates. Y'all know how I operate. I'm fucking ready to rip. How we doing, everybody out there? Mikey Wright, damn, y'all don't miss a fucking beat. So on the homepage on Underdog, they've got the Pitbull right here. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 8 hours. You know what we're doing. You know what already. It is $20 to join, all right? It is $20 to join. So if your pocket's looking a little slim this summer, I don't know what to tell you. Bang. So we're in filled. All right, sexy. See, this is why I love drafting on Underdog, because it takes about 5 seconds for these drafts to fill. And we're off. So this is a start 9, I think. It's 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. So it's actually start 8. But you draft 18 peoples. Are you going to release your results after the season? On Underdog? I mean, I can if you want. I typically don't do a ton of tournament plays. Like, I almost exclusively do just like $3 drafts with you guys. I tend to draft with you guys as my main point of drafting, just like have fun, just to interact, just to, let me throw myself down here, just to kind of keep an eye on the trends in the player ADP and stuff like that. But y'all are free to ask questions and jump in the chat throughout the entire time. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can while still being able to draft on a 15-second clock. Of course, I was the last one in. What do you mean? What do you mean? 15 seconds, super quick, but bound for failure. Well, that's why when you're drafting on Underdog, you gotta use the star. You gotta put players into the queue. I've got the 111. The draft is already off to a ripping start. We've got C-Mac at the 1. Now, being on the turn, that's where it gets a little spicy. I kind of know what I want to do at the 111, 202-ish, if the player that drops to me does get there. But you'll see, 96 wide receivers kind of jump off the board after C-Mac. And then Bijan Brees. I'm here to snipe you at 10. That makes sense. I'm going to ban you, I think, from this chat. I think there's a good chance you get banned at one point or another throughout this draft. You have any draft strategies, Hero RB, Zero RB? I genuinely, I do. I just don't actually like to talk about them while I'm on the stream, because there are fuckboys like Mr. Pittsburgh in there that steal the guys that I like. So I tend to keep the words out my mouth of the people that I want. Let's see what we go with. Fucking motherfucker. You already hit me with the schnipe piece. Yeah, I wanted Garrett Wilson there. So I was doing some deep research this morning on Garrett Wilson. Actually, more so on Aaron Rodgers. I found a pretty wild stat. So Garrett Wilson had 68 targets last year. Okay, went back-to-back wide receivers there, Drake and Nico. Now, I typically want to hit double wide receiver running back on the turn. So I'm going to grab Gibbs there and then pound wide receivers after that. But I like to give myself a little bit of flexibility at the turn there and go 1-1. So Garrett Wilson has a season coming off 168 targets. Aaron Rodgers has never, ever had a wide receiver in his offense that has seen more than 140 targets that didn't finish as a top 4 fantasy wide receiver. I think I need to repeat that again. Aaron Rodgers, in his 15 fucking years in Green Bay, there had never been a receiver. There has never been a receiver that had 140 or more targets that wasn't the wide receiver 1, 2, 3, or 4. Anytime a receiver in his offense saw 140 or more targets, he finished as a top 4 fantasy wide receiver. A lot of ones sprinkled in there between Devontae, Jordy Nelson. Even Greg Jennings was getting involved with a 149 piece back in, I think it was '08. So if we can get some semblance of Rodgers, I think Garrett Wilson has a mighty good chance to end up finishing as the fantasy wide receiver 3 or so. Chris Olave is going to go crazy this year. Yeah, I mean, I want to believe that. I just don't know what changed about the situation that makes me get real excited about it, you know? And this is kind of why I want to walk away from the first 3 rounds with at least one running back, because all the other good options are gone by the time you get to the turn. And there are still some good receivers left that I can kind of take a stabby at. How many wide receivers has it been? There's a sample size of like 6 or 7. It's like Devontae 3 times, Jordy Nelson twice, Greg Jennings. And then there's some other really good finishes of like Randall Cobb, Donald Driver, those types of guys, James Jones, that have all been like top 10 guys but never saw 140 targets. So even at the limited space. Why is Michael Pittman continuously falling down here? So at this turn here, because I already went running back, I don't feel the need to force one. So I'm going to grab Pittman. And then I like the mix of Pickens, Cooper, Christian Kirk, any of those guys here. Now, I've talked a lot about George Pickens this offseason, about why I feel like he's kind of a guy that's in a perfect storm where he's going to get a shitload of targets. One of the reasons I don't love drafting him in underdog drafts particularly is because you don't necessarily get to stack him with anyone. Like I've got no desire, less like a nun's level of desire to draft George Pickens, or to draft him, because the fact that you can't really stack him. Like I don't want Russ at all. I don't want Russ what the fuck soever. Whereas Cooper, on the other hand, I don't hate Deshaun Watson. People hate Pittman Jr., especially in the Pitbull. Why? I don't understand. Like, he's just a good player. You could stack him with A. Rich. He's like just a good all-around receiver. I'll take him at the end of the third all fucking day. If Carr will actually throw him the ball, Carr check down king. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't see much that's changed in the offense to get me excited. I think their offensive lines got worse. Like, I don't know. Olave's like a nice floor receiver that I feel like we know what we're going to get, but I'm not getting overly optimistic about him hitting the ceiling anytime soon. Thoughts on the tight end rankings this year? Well, I kind of hate all of them except for like the top that top tier of guys. You know, I typically try to leave the early rounds with the tight end, but not always possible depending on where you're picking from. Like I'm at the 110, so I'll be at the 510. I doubt I'll be able to walk away with the tight end here. Pittman is still really the only guy in Indy. I don't know why he's still low. Like, I understand. I can make the case for why you'd want to avoid him, or at least why you don't think he has like the ceiling that would need to get you somewhere in like a tournament play like this. The reason would be, one, Josh Downs was sneaky really good last year. Number two, Adonai Mitchell is fucking him, okay? Adonai Mitchell is absolutely him. So he's going to command some targets. This is also going to be a very run-heavy offense. It's going to run through Richardson. It's going to run through JT. So the target share there it's kind of hard to see him building on top of the number of targets he had last year. That's really why. Ferguson's the best value of all tight ends. I would agree with that. He had a lot of bad touchdown luck last year. The guy was number 2 in the entire NFL, not even just tight ends, but all pass catchers in red zone targets. And he ended up scoring 5 touchdowns. So I really like Ferguson as well. Yeah, I'll throw the board up on the screen after I pick on this turn. I forgot you guys can't really see the board, so I'll go with the board and then I'll draft from my phone afterwards. AD is special. That's a fact that not a damn person can deny. The value at running back here is crazy. Jacobs, Mixon, Rashad White. I've kind of been stacking a lot of these middle round running backs. I don't have a lot of Jacobs, so I'm going to take him in this draft, but I'm usually going with Mixon or White here. Because again, I already have three wide receivers: Puka, Pittman, Cooper. Oh, save at the 6-1. He's going to be a 5th round pick soon. That's gross. So honestly, I'll go with a 3rd running back here. I don't really care what the fucking format of underdog is. Mixon, White, don't matter. Let's go White there. All right, let's put up the big board for y'all. Put me in the corner. Watch from here. I'll draft from my phone. That way I can actually use the queue a little bit too. Active, Pitbull. Kind of questions we got in here. Musgrave is sneaky. I'm still not sold that Musgrave is that good at football. Like that's the only problem I have with Musgrave. He had a lot of opportunity last year, and he didn't really do shit with it. Even like Tucker Kraft, I feel like was better in his limited opportunity. But Tucker Kraft is hurt right now, so there's a chance that Musgrave just kind of walks into a really big role. Imagine like not knowing ball to this degree. Worthy was a 5th round pick before, now falling to the 6th. That's disgusting. That literally makes me sick. I hammer Josh Jacobs over rushing yardage. Fool's errand. Fool's fucking errand. Put up the big board for the big girls. How far back are we? You guys can see this, right? Who finishes as QB1 this year? I got Hurts as my 1. Like, Allen losing all those weapons scares me a little bit. Mahomes really hasn't shown, like, the fantasy ceiling now in a couple of years because of the lack of weapons and them being, like, a defensive first team almost at this point. So I got Hurts as a 3, but, like, obviously Lamar can get there. A-Rich could get there if he's healthy. I think even Dak, passing yardage-wise, could get there. My biggest concern is that Green Bay offense is basically going to roulette every week. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about the backfield. Like, I know Jacobs should get the largest share of work, but at the same time, they'll use other players. They've clearly talked about and shown that they want to do that. Ooh, okay. We're on the clock here. Let's grab him. Let's grab Himstein and... All right. See, we talking about our favorite tight ends right here. Jake Ferguson for show. Richardson went before Hurts. In this draft, did he? I didn't even see that. Oh my God, yeah. Allen, Lamar, Richardson, Hurts. Yeah, I mean that's just welcome to underdog. Welcome to underdog tournaments. People just screaming for upside left and right. All right, maybe this is a reach, but I'm grabbing my guy here. That's the stack right there. Ferguson and Mr. Prescott. Where's Mark Andrews going now? So Andrews is typically a 5th round pick, I want to say. He went to 412. So that's someone asked me what my tight end strategy is for this year. My favorite tight end strategy for this year for sure is leaving either the 4th or 5th round with my guy. I won't take Laporte in the 3rd. But I'll take pretty much any of these guys in the 4th, and I would love to grab Kincaid or Andrews in the 5th. I've done a ton of that. That's been my strat so much. C-Watt is a wide receiver 1 in Green Bay. The wide receiver room in Green Bay is such a tough room to really dial in on right now because you have Jayden Reed, who played his fucking ass off last year. You have Dontavian Wicks, who played really well last year. Everybody kind of wants to label Romeo Doubs as the odd man out, but he's like a really nice, solid possession, complimentary wide receiver 3 for Green Bay. They never had any sort of like period of the year where they stopped playing him as much as he normally did. So I don't see Doubs kind of just going anywhere. And then Christian Watson can't stay on the fucking field. So there are a lot of concerns I have with like going heavy into the Green Bay offense if it gets into like Jayden Reed's a mid 5th round pick at this point. it's getting a little spicy. I think he's probably the best well-rounded receiver in that group, but if you can get Jaden Reed at the 5, you can get Christian Watson 2 rounds later, you can get Dontavian Wicks 5 rounds later, I start to kind of question that value a little bit. All right, we're almost on the clock here. We got our QB1. We've got our tight end 1. All right, cool. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to grab my boy Josh Palmer. Big fan of Joshy. High floor player in an offense where he will be the main outside. He'll probably play 80 to 90% of the snaps this year. So I'm on board with that. Really want Rashid Shaheed, but I had to kind of pick and choose my battle here. I wanted to get both of them. I kind of wish I was on the turn instead. All right, let's see what we got here. See, none of the receivers at this point are really worth reaching up for. Although I've been taking a lot of this stack, it doesn't feel responsible. But I need another receiver, and I have Dak. I've gotten a lot of Dak and Brandon Cooks as a stack together. He's coming off an 8-touchdown season, but like fluky touchdowns are not necessarily something to bank on. But I don't hate him down here, so. Right now, I was able to get Dak, Ferguson, and Brandon Cooks together, which is something you're trying to do in a lot of these best ball drafts. Dobbs is just a guy, sure, but he was just a guy last year, and he played well, and they don't seem to be using that as part of their strategy as to why they shouldn't play him. What's your thoughts on T-Law this season, given his last 2 seasons were polar opposites? I think he'll be fine. I don't really see a huge reason as to why he'll be like a huge breakout candidate. I think he'll give us probably what he's been giving us, that 4,300 yard season. If Brian Thomas Jr. is the player that a lot of people think he is, though, that could really kind of expedite this season for him. And that's where I see the upside laying on T-Law, because I think when you have guys like Calvin Ridley in the offense, it feels like he wasn't good enough to be the role that they were asking him to be. Like it felt like a lot of their offensive possessions got a bit stagnant because it felt like T-Law was just trying to kind of force it to his wide receiver 1 and didn't really work very well. So if BDGE can really spread the field, unlike Calvin Ridley last year, then we could see some magic with Christian Kirk underneath. Evan Ingram's obviously good. They grabbed Gabe Davis, is what it is there. I don't see like a huge uptick in statistics for T-Law, but I think he's a good value where he's starting to go in these drafts. He went into 10-9, but I've seen him in the 11th round. I've seen him as like the QB, 13, 14, 15, which I'd be fine drafting him there. I believe Firemouth is criminally undervalued. Who's a second option after Pickens, regardless of Arthur Smith? Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. It's Pickens. It's Roman Wilson, who I'm not a fan of his game, but they're going to run the ball so fucking much behind Russ there with Najee and Jalen Warren. So I don't really know what his ceiling is. He's a pretty boring play, but yeah, I get it. He could be a value. Do you think they will give BBM6 a 15-second option next year? I want to say that because they've gotten such good feedback on it. Sorry, let me make my pickies real quickies. You know what? Just for you, we're gonna grab a little Pat Freiermuth action. And then, you know what? I don't really have a ton of Rico Dowdle, and I never get him in these drafts. So I'm going to take him here. I was making a video today talking about Zeke and Rico Dowdle, and I think you should leave most of your drafts with one of them. The opportunity that's been available in Dallas's backfield has been fucking insane. Over the last 3 years, they're averaging, I think, like 525 opportunities to running backs, 20 touchdowns, 2,600 total yards. Like, somebody's going to eat in that backfield, and it's probably going to be a combination of both of them, which is why you should probably go for both of them. Do you think BBM6 is going to add a 15-second option next year? So I think because they've gotten such good feedback on this, yeah, it'll start to become more and more of a staple of their gaming offer for sure. I don't see why not. I love you too, Hermione. I wish you were the real Hermione. Saturdays are for the boys. Sundays are for the big girls. That might have been my favorite comment in fucking 2.5 fortnights. That's a great comment. Yeah, so we'll be doing one of these underdog drafts. I mean, we do them company wide throughout the week many times. We do one on Friday, every Friday on the trivia channel. We do one every other Thursday on this channel. We will be doing one every weekend. I'm not sure if it's Saturday or Sunday. It'll be a little bit fluid depending on my schedule. But we'll be doing one of these drafts every weekend live. So make sure you got notifications turned on. It'll let you know when I go live. I also just pop a notification into the Discord. But if you're new to Underdog, this is the best fucking place to draft throughout the summer. This is the most fun and enjoyable place. They're quick hitting. They got the 15-second drafts. You can join leagues for as little as $3. And obviously, if you're in the top 3, you come back at the end of the year and you win some money. But this is how you stay on top of news, trends, and all that kind of shit. And if you're new to Underdog, you could use the code BDGE, and they're going to hit you with a shitload of deposit bonuses. All right? All right, Dan? All right, we are 2 picks away. We've got 1 QB. We've got, Stafford already went off the fucking board. I really kind of wanted him there. Oh, you know what? You know what? Oh, no. No. Fuck. That's not who I wanted. That wasn't who I wanted. We'll have to live with it. I'm going to be upset if DZDs takes my guy. I'm upset. Okay, we're fine. Okay, I wanted Watson. I have Cooper. Let's get the stack. So here's my take on Watson. And I have all these takes because I filmed about 4 videos this morning that are going to be going off over the next 5 days, 7 days, whatever. Deshaun Watson was bad last year, but he still played to a relatively okay fantasy level. Like, he averaged 28 rushing yards per game in the 5 games that he played fully, which is, a big boost to the floor. He also improved from year over year by over 2 fantasy points per game. If he takes another step similar to that, we're looking at like a rock solid bottom end QB1. They also have a great offensive line when they're healthy. They were like dismantled by injuries last year. I brought in Judy to be the 2. Judy's a fucking cone, but still like Cooper, still like Njoku, still like Jerome Ford out of the backfield. So I don't really believe in Deshaun Watson, but he did take a step up this previous year from the year prior, where it was more touchdowns per game, fewer interceptions per game, more fantasy points per game. Like, he'll take another little step, I think, and then be extremely serviceable there. And the running aspect is really what like continues to keep his floor alive. Where's Christian Kirk going in drafts? I see him usually around the 4 or 5 turn in this area. Where'd he go? Okay, so he went all the way up at 4-4, which, to be honest with you, I don't know that I see a huge problem with it. He was on pace for a big year last year before getting hurt, and now with Calvin Ridley gone, I feel like he's the clear team leader in targets and has extremely good chemistry with Trevor Lawrence. Why is Raheem Mostert so undervalued? Raheem Mostert is undervalued because we have like a 9-year sample size prior to last year where he couldn't stay on the field ever, and he was bad rather than good. And Devon Achane broke out, and had he stayed healthy, probably would have seen a bigger breakout. So I think there are reasons are valid, but the gap and where you're getting Raheem Mostert, I agree, is a little bit fucking insane. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We are on the clock, and I'm not in a good position right now. Yep, sure. We'll take Tyler Boyd there. That is okay. I might go with a 3 tight end build here. I think I'm going to do that. I'll tell you who I'm going to take. When I take them. That's when I'm going to tell you when I'm going to take them. This is going to be an insane pick. You guys got to hear me out. Tyler Conklin, I think, is one of the more underrated tight ends in all of fantasy football this year. He has had 87 targets in 3 straight years. He has had at least 58 receptions in 3 straight years. There are 4 tight ends who have had 58 or more receptions in each of the past 3 seasons: Kelsey, Hawk, Kittle, Tyler Conklin. Conklin hasn't scored a touchdown in 26 games. Legitimately has not scored a touchdown in 26 fucking games. But with Rodgers there, if he can put up the same numbers that he's been putting up for the last 3 years consecutively in one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL, but he can score 4 to 5 touchdowns, those are tight end 1 numbers. I hate to break it to you, but Tyler Conklin is the most boring tight end that you should be drafting in round 16, 17, 18 of every draft. When should I draft a kicker in Dynasty? I don't know if you're doing this just to fucking piss me off, but one, you should hope that your league gets rid of kickers soon. Oh, kicker in Dynasty. I've never played in a league with kickers and Dynasty, or never played in a Dynasty league with kickers, so I don't know what to tell you. It would probably be late. Are you doing a video of who you should let your idiot league mates draft? Of course. Those are like a staple of the channel now. Those are what brings in the views. Those are what gets Papa fed. That's what keeps the kids eating. If we knew Justin Fields only played week 15 to 17, what do you think his ADP would be then? In like underdog tournaments, it would be annoying. He would probably be getting picked. Honestly, just the 3 weeks, I still think that threading that needle is still too. He'd probably be getting picked around here. Probably like 16th, 17th round. Zamir White is an absolute stud. Can you sell me on Zamir White? I don't feel super confident in it. You don't think I'll pull the fucking greatest Dallas stack of all time with Jalen Tolbert on the back end? I now have Dak, Jake Ferguson, Jalen Tolbert, and Brandon Cooks. I have way too much of that stack. It is disgusting. I need to stop doing that, like, fucking immediately. I also need another running back. That's not good. I'm not in a good spot here. Someone took Clyde, you son of a bitch. Y'all gonna hate this pick. Y'all gonna hate it. Alexander Madison is gonna get some run. At some point or another this year, he's gonna be a waiver wire pickup. I'll put money on it. Oh, source. Zamir White is an absolute stud. Source. Just trust me, bro. Did I just do the Gwimbly? I don't know what that means. What are signs you should leave a dynasty league? Great question. Let me think about it. One, you don't want to be there anymore. You're not having fun. You don't like the people in the dynasty league. There's a shitload of turnover year over year. Is outdated settings or outdated scoring or something like that. I think at the end of the day, like if you're not enjoying the dynasty league, then get the fuck out. Don't leave just because you're like not a good team. But if you don't actually enjoy the dynasty league, fuck up out of here. Drew P. Balls says, Drew P. Balls, very nice. Which wide receivers in New England are worth anything? Is Drake May going to be a top 20 quarterback? I wouldn't put money on it, but I will say, and this, again, is something I've been saying throughout a lot of the videos so far, I think we need to leave a little bit of room. I think we need to leave a little bit of room for the fact that New England could surprise us. I think we should leave some room on the off chance that they're a better, what the hell? That they are a better offense than we are anticipating, which would mean Drake May will be good. The wide receivers that I like in New England are for sure Pop Douglas. Demario Douglas would be my number one guy here. There's just nowhere to put these comments. Like, we just got to be better, Ecamm Live. Pop Douglas is for sure my one there. Jalen Polk, I think, will be fun. Hunter Henry, I think, is like a sneaky bet to score a handful of touchdowns as well. I'd rather have Madison over Tyler Conklin. Just such a bad take. Just so bad on fucking enormous amounts of levels. Yeah. Is this the $25 best ball mania? No, this is not. This is the Pitbull which is also $20, but it's just different. I actually don't even know what the difference is, to be completely honest with you, and that is something I don't suggest, joining things that you don't fucking know what they are. It's just a life lesson. I think this is just a $20 tournament, but the clock can be 15 seconds, so I'm all in on that. Anytime you can give me a 15-second clock, anytime you could save me time, I'm all in. Like, I can make a phenomenal piece of draft content for you guys, and I was able to do it in 30 minutes as compared to like the hour and 4 minutes this usually takes me, because it's a goddamn Sunday in New York City in the summer, and I want to go enjoy it. But if y'all want to enjoy next Saturday, I don't know how many of you guys overlap with our audience in terms of the trivia stuff we have, but we are hosting a live trivia tournament, a live NFL trivia tournament out here in New York next Saturday. So if you have ever wanted to come meet the team, hang out, get drunk afterwards, drink a bunch of tequila, next Saturday would be the time to do so, okay? Tickets are available on bdge.shop. It's us. We got a team. We obviously share the office with Snapback Sports. They got a team. Underdog Fantasy, so like Josh Norris and those guys will have a team. Fantasy Life, so Pete Overzet, Elliot Christ, and some other guys from that team will be there. Nerd Sesh, if you guys are familiar with them via TikTok, they are smart as fuck when it comes to knowing ball. So it's those 5 teams. We're all competing against each other. I'm hosting the event, so I'm not actually competing in it, but obviously BDG's got a squad. But the event will be at the Ainsworth in Midtown, obviously ticketed, and it'll be from like noon to like 4, and then the rest of the day, happy hour into the night, we're just going to kind of hang out, meet everybody that was there. So anyone in the tri-state area, if you want to make the trip for the Saturday, tickets, again, we've got a few of them left till next Saturday, bdge.shop. You can use the promo code YouTube10. YouTube10 will get you 10% off. If you got a group of 4 people, if you got 4 friends together that want to make the trip, you can use the code YouTube free, all capital YouTube free. Buy 3, get your 4th ticket free. All right? That's what we're doing. Next Saturday, noon. Better fucking see some of y'all there. All right? That was the Underdog draft for today. If you want to draft with us on Underdog, as always, any fucking site that we partner with, just use this code, BDGE. You'll also get our draft guide for free, which is cool. We're running that promo again. If you're a first-time depositor on Underdog Fantasy and you use our code, you'll get the bonuses that they always give you, but you'll get our draft guide on top of it. And we're putting in work this year for the draft guide, for the D Drizzy, for the Dree Gizzy, for the Driz Jizzy. Pause. This is what the landing page looks like right now. It's going to be clean as fuck for you guys. So pre-order price available if you've already deposited on Underdog before, but if you are new, then you can get it for the cheapest price of $10 by depositing on Underdog. We got everything for you. Tiebreaker is going to be fucking lit. All of it. It's going to be sexy. It's going to be sexy like you. Not like me. All right, I'm out of here. Again, make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification button so it lets you know when we do go live throughout the week doing more of these Underdog drafts. Smoochies.